I've been trying to be more like mindful and that, but I make excuses all the time about how I'm too time poor to meditate and do stuff like that. And then I find myself watching 45-minute videos of people smoking cigarettes in the park. Tonight, I just thought, fuck it. I don't care that it's 10 p.m. I'm going for a walk and you are coming with me, all right? I figured the easiest way to get into a meditative mindset was to be present and observe the little things around me. And when I took the video of those drips, the music that I was listening to, my phone stopped, which was annoying. And then I realized, hey, fuckwit, why are you listening to music? You're meant to be practicing mindfulness right now, remember? Anyway, these trees are kind of pretty eats, but not really the piece of minutia that I'm going for. You can't really miss these. This skate park that I was passing is kind of new. I haven't checked it out yet, but I remember a lot of people arguing about it on the community group, so I thought I'd have a squiz. And then I saw that quarter bowl is fucking massive. Let's go take a closer look, shall we? But first, I saw this hat on the ground, and two of my favorite hats of all time I have found on the footpath. I have two beautiful hats that I found like that. This is not one of them. This hat is fucking chat. It's gross. We got to the quarter bowl, and just like I thought, that is very high up. That's big. For a bit of reference, you know, I'm about yay big. I'm about yay high, and it's like that big, which is bigger than, you know, what I am. So massive. My mates and I used to hang out on this little dock thing here, kind of sit there and have a few beers and watch the sunset, but it's closed now, so that's pretty shit. And then I noticed this light, and I was like, why does that light look interesting? I thought about it for a second, and it kind of made everything around it look extra dark. And what's interesting about that is that's kind of the opposite of what a light is meant to do. I always see these oversized signs, and I always wondered to myself, you know, if that's oversized, what's size? What's just size? Like it's exactly as big as it's meant to be. Now that I say it out loud, it's actually not as interesting as I thought it was. This sign is kind of behind a tree, so you can't really read it from the path. You can't even see it from the path. And it's brand new. So I thought that was weird. Like, why do they even do that? You know? I wanted to get another video of the sign from the path to show what I mean here, of like, you can't read it. But then two ladies were walking past me, and they looked at me taking videos of a toilet sign at 10:30 p.m. and they said something in Arabic to one another and started laughing. So I got really embarrassed. But then I looked at this bridge for a little while and I thought to myself, who gives a fuck that they laughed actually? It doesn't really matter. But they probably have a funny story now, you know, to tell other people. I saw this guy taking photos of toilet signs before. I wonder what the fuck he was up to. I took this video of myself walking past a scary looking dog. I'm quite scared of dogs actually, because I got attacked by one in Uruguay about 5 years ago. I never was scared of them until one of them tried to bite my head clean off. Anyway, this one didn't try to bite my head off or anything like that, so I feel a little bit more confident every time I walk past a dog that doesn't bite my head clean off. And at this point in my walk, the mindfulness is really kicking in. You know, I noticed this sparkly footpath and I thought, that's beautiful. You know, even though it probably serves some sort of utilitarian function, but I just thought, oh wow, that's amazing. It's beautiful. It's so sparkly. That's so interesting. Anyway, at the end of this clip here, you can kind of see I do something weird with my hand. The phone died. So that sucks, doesn't it? Wait, no, it doesn't. Because now I can actually be mindful and look around without worrying about what is going to look good for me to film. You know, I can actually look around and be mindful, which is the whole fucking point of me going out at all tonight. And so that's exactly what I did. I went out again the next night with my proper camera, my nice big camera. And I got some nice shots of the little things that I kind of noticed along the way. I retraced my steps to try and, recapture all the things that I saw. And I even saw some new things that I didn't notice last night. Or I suppose it was the same things, but from a new perspective. It was nice to experience that calm that I'd actually created for myself by identifying these pieces of minutiae as objects of comfort and presence. Things that I would never notice if I wasn't truly present. All the things that interested me purely because I was present and mindful of their existence on that first walk. And I saw them all from a new lens, if you will. That lens being a 50mm on the end of a Sony FS7 instead of an iPhone 7, which I was recording on the first night. That's why the footage looks so shit. And then I made a huge mistake. One of the more interesting places I went to on the first night was this abandoned mental asylum. And on the first night, I just kind of passed through and I saw a couple of really cool things. But at this point, my phone was already dead. And I saw some cool plants and some little minutiae around. But I was kind of booking it. And I took a shortcut to get back to the main road. Part of that was because I was freaking out a little bit. It was really late at night. And so I was pretty keen to get the fuck out of there. I went again and I was focused on getting the shot. Because that was the whole point of going out tonight at all, I suppose. And so I was getting the shot of this amazing steeple that you can see popping up through the trees. And while I was doing that, I heard this noise. It was like electricity or something. And it was coming from directly above me. And I was like, I know what that is. That's a bug. I've heard bugs before. That's got to be a bug, right? Well, I looked up and there was no bug. It was not a bug. There was not a bat, a bug, a bird. There was nothing up there. It was dead empty. And I would have seen it. I would have seen a bug even. There was nothing up there, but the sound was getting louder and like that. Zzz. And I was freaking out. I'm like, what the hell's this noise? It's really loud. And then all of a sudden, I heard like the sound of a bat taking off, that sort of. And I shit my dacks. I'm not sure where I stand on ghosties and ghoulies. I just don't spend much time thinking about anything that I can't actually interact with and see. That said, I don't not believe in ghosts and ghouls and goblins. I haven't made my mind up yet. But I heard this noise and something in me was like, you should apologize right now and get the fuck out of here. So I was like, I'm sorry, I'm leaving. But the only way to get back to my house was to walk through the main grounds of this abandoned mental hospital. So that's what I did. And it was incredibly stressful. I was petrified the whole time. When it's midnight and you're alone in an abandoned mental asylum and it's silent and you don't have music playing and you have a several $1,000 camera in your hand, you are very acutely aware of every single noise going on around you. So every single bush I walked past, there would be some noise. I don't know what it was. A lizard, a leaf dropping, a ghost, a attacker, the killer hiding in there, ready to pounce out and blast me to bits. I didn't get blasted to bits. It was a huge mistake walking through the asylum. I was horrified. I was not calm at all. It was a horrendous experience, I gotta say. But I am very glad that I did walk through there. I'm glad that I powered on. I'm glad that I got the shots that I got because I got some nice shots. I'm really glad that I had you guys there along the way in a funny little way. I'm sorry I didn't get more shots. I was really, really scared, if I'm honest. I learned some things about mindfulness. You know, firstly, mindfulness isn't that easy. You can't just say, I'm gonna be mindful now, and then do it. It takes some time. You need to get into it and get into the flow of it. But also, mindfulness isn't that hard. Yeah, it takes some time and you have to ease into it and kind of let the flow of the universe tell you when you are ready to be mindful and when you've shed your distractions. It took me 15 minutes into my first walk when my headphones died and then my phone died, and I was like, okay, I'm being told this is how I'm going to be mindful tonight. And I was. And thirdly, it's extraordinarily helpful. I've been super stressed lately, mostly with work and also with creative projects. All this stuff has been piling up and I'm so stressed that I can't start any of them. I have all this work to do and I can't start any of them. And I realized only once I got home, I didn't think about any of those stresses while I was out there. And I was really calm for the rest of the night and I had a great sleep. And then tonight when I went out again, even though it was an exercise in content gathering, I was still mindful and I was trying to get those shots of that minutia. So I was being extremely present. I want to do more of this. I'd like to continue documenting my practice of mindfulness in the inner city because I think there's a lot of beauty to be discovered in your own backyard. And there's this kind of pretentious barrier to meditation and practicing mindfulness that we can break down. And I want to prove that, that you don't need to leave your suburb or go forest bathe or any of that sort of bullshit. You can just go out and be mindful, or you can stay in and be mindful. You can do it. I believe in you. You can do this. And if it's something that interests you at all, I'd love if you consider subscribing or absolutely obliterating that like button, please, because that'll tell me that this is worthwhile, and people are getting something out of it. But even if you're not, I'm gonna fucking do it anyway. I don't give a shit. But I'd love to have you along the ride. So actually, yeah, do subscribe and do freaking smash that freaking like button. And I'll see you in the next one.